Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mysterio build. This is part number 4. This episode we're looking at doing the rest of the body, so we're doing the bodysuit, the armour, the dome, and possibly the cape as well, maybe. We'll see how we do. So I've just spent a couple of hours taping up this. So this is the green suit that you saw in the muscle suit build. The shoes and the gloves you've already seen in the last episode. You see they're like an army green colour. So some sections of this are going to be the same kind of army green. I have no idea how this is going to look. I'm hoping it's going to look cool. If not, I'll just have to paint the whole thing green. Because this is a little bit lighter than what I thought I was going to get in the post, but you know, make do and mend. So as this is a spandex stretchy kind of, well, it's a man-made material, tape doesn't want to stick to it very well, so I'm going to have to be very, very careful and just not lather the paint on too much and just very carefully go over it and make sure that I keep re-sticking the edges down, otherwise you're going to get paint bleed and it's going to look awful. So this is the same gold brand Montana cans in the army green. This is an acrylic one. I hope it goes on quite nicely. Okay, well I think I've got everything. So it's dry, time to peel it off and see what it looks like. Dear God, I hope it looks okay. It looks alright. We've got a couple of bleeds, unfortunately, especially around the backs of the knees. As much as I try to straighten the fabric out, it's bunched up a little bit, but I might be able to fix that by hand. Yeah, I kind of didn't think it looks a little bit like a green Deadpool at the moment. But you've also got to think of it with, it's going to have a belt, it's going to have some armour up top, and I've also got to put all the crosshatch detailing on it. So, yeah, I think it'll work. So our bodysuit is painted. So the green's kind of gone on quite nice. It's a little bit faded in some spots, but I think it looks kind of cool. I dig that. It's kind of where the bits where the muscle suit are. So I think that'll work quite well. So now we've got to mark out the spots where we're actually going to put the cross hatching, because Mysterio has like a grid pattern that runs across his suit. Now I don't want to do it across the entirety of the suit, I'm only going to do it on these dark bits here. So before we do that, we need to mark out where they're going to go, otherwise it's going to be really, really wonky. So I've got some trusty tailor's chalk. And I'm just going to use some tape to help as a guide and try and get as many straight lines as possible. Straight lines aren't normally my thing, so hopefully this will turn out okay. Then once everything is marked out, I'm going to be painting it with this. Now this is a tulip puffy paint. Most Spider-Man cosplayers are familiar with this. This is a good way to add definition and web lines to your suit, but in a manner that's cheap. The only downside is it's incredibly time consuming, and if you mess it up, you really mess it up. This stuff stains fabric, it obviously sticks to fabric, sticks to stretchy fabric quite well. And if you smudge it, yeah, you're going to have to get a new suit or really try and hide it. Depends how bad the smudge is. And this paint also takes 4 hours to dry, so it's usually something you have to do in sections. You can't puffy paint an entire suit. So it's going to be what we're doing with this. Thankfully we don't have to puffy paint the whole thing, just the little bits. Alright, so we've got all the markings on now. Now the scary bit, actually doing the painting. So we're going to do it bit by bit, not going to do it all in one go. Hopefully by the end of tomorrow we'll have the whole suit done. bodysuit has been mostly puffy painted so far. Ran out of paint just on the armpits, but we can do that later. So the wonderful Mateus is underneath the suit right now. So this is feel good?
Yes. I want the dome and I want the cape right now.
Okay, well we're working on it. So see, this is what we got so far. The boots, the boot covers, the gauntlets. There's a bootie. That's coming off. We'll just add some more Velcro on that. That's fine.
More Velcro on there, yeah.
And so now it's moving on to doing the dome, cutting the dome out, doing the shoulder and the belt armor, and then the last thing that will be done is the cape. And see, the very last thing is electronics as well. But I'm quite pleased with how it's come out so far.
It's looking awesome, Chungus.
Oh, so you can still see all the chalk lines that are on the suit, but they will be washed out before the first wear. But hey, they're looking cool. This is a big old crate dome for Mysterio. People worried we weren't going to have the dome. I did say the helmet was going to go underneath it, but there's the dome. You can't have Mysterio without a dome. No. I refuse.
I would refuse to carry on this costume if it was just this.
Oh yeah.
I want the dome. And look, it's...
So yes, it doesn't fit right now, so we have to cut a hole in it. So it's about 5 centimeters more than what this original bit is. So just masked it up because we don't want to damage the dome too much. So gonna get the Dremel, gonna get the cutting tool out, and just very carefully go around this outside edge. Very carefully, and then probably just have to sand it smooth. And then Matt will probably be walking around with it on his head for the rest of the day.
Yes, I will. Surgery begins! Yes! Oh, it's loud, isn't it?
I don't think that looks too bad, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, at the time we've got like the strip around the bottom, because your head's like perfectly in the middle there.
Cool.
You've got about that much room up top, and about either side. So yeah, full range of movement, which is what we wanted. Didn't want to like scrape on the inside.
So what have we got here?
We are working on the chest portion of the armour. It's going to go up over the shoulders, hold the dome in place, and also hold the top of the cape in place too. So this is currently the middle bit of detail for it. Just kind of making it up as we go, really.
Yeah, and for reference, it's this bit here, middle bit here of the drawing. This is our concept drawing of Mysterio. Look how cool it looks.
Yeah, we've taken it, most of the inspiration from a specific design that we found.
A mixture, yeah. It's a bit.
But it's got a little bit.
It's our own thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and an all-seeing eye, which is on. Grab it on the helmet there. That is that tiny piece that Boss has got in the middle. So we're gonna have another one to just match up because. Cool little thing.
Cool, gotta make everything look on brand, right?
Yum yum yum, look at that toffee sauce.
I know, it looks delicious, doesn't it? It doesn't smell it, but it looks it.
So this is our chest piece that we've done. We put it on another layer of foam. What foam did we put it on?
10mm.
10mm foam, just to give it a bit more of a kind of more chunky. So yeah, it definitely does look chunky. We've got another all-seeing eye there, and the M, because I think Mysterio would definitely have a big M across his chest.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we thought that looked cool. And our boss is working on the shoulder armour. So just cutting it out with what, mil foam?
This is 5 mil foam.
5 mil foam. So progress continues.
Okay, so we got a little bit of a jump here. Yeah, just a lot of foam work going on. So this is the chest plate that we were cutting out. It's pretty much finished apart from some more stuff on the paint job, and still need to make some bits that are going to connect over the top of the cape. And yeah, the reason I haven't filmed a lot of making today was because trying to figure out how to mount the dome on here nice and securely. So literally I've spent all day playing about with things and tweaking it, and finally decided upon this, which is a big old neck ring. So the base of this neck ring is actually a template you can find on Evil Ted Smith's website. It's $5. So for us lot in the UK, that's about £3.50 for the template, which obviously you get to keep and reuse as many times as you like. So what I've done is I've obviously just made that, and with a couple of bits of 10 mil foam, just added these kind of brackets on the front and on the back, as well as a split up the back as well, just so you can get this on and off, because it's a very snug fit. And as you can see, there is also a little dowel ring clip in the back here. So fiddling about with this, the kind of thing that I think it works for the moment. I won't really know exactly till I do a full test fit. So I've got a little bit of Velcro here at the front, and that connects to this little strip of Velcro on the front of the dome, and you can see the other side of the dowel ring clip in there. Obviously I want to add some more bits in here and just put in some more detail and cover that so you can't just see there's a random strap. So the Velcro just keeps the front in place, the dowel ring clip makes sure the back's not going to go anywhere, and at the moment I'm just waiting for the hot glue gun to heat up so I can put some Velcro on this strap, cut that up, and then this can be then glued to the side here, just so when this has got the weight of the cape on it, it should be fairly sturdy, and as it's across the shoulders, it should just give a better support base for the dome. I mean, the dome is not heavy, the dome is a fairly lightweight one. It's just an acrylic one, I think, so it's not too bad. It's just the weight of it, and you just don't really want it rolling around everywhere. Oh, and I've also done a belt. Very simple. I don't know why, it's just giving me Power Rangers vibes. This whole suit at the moment is just Power Ranger vibes. So yeah, when that's done, I'll just quickly put the strapping in, and then we're going to do our first test fit with all this. So then it's just on to doing the little details, the cape and the electronics. So we're definitely getting there now. Definitely.
Okay, so the one thing I can't do by myself is get the dowel ring clip at the back. So the helmet wants to move forward, Because I can't clip it because it has to be on so you can clip it. So it's still wobbly, but I think when that's clipped in, it should be fine. I need the clip, or it's just being held on by that bit at the front. It's also rather hot in here. I'm going to need some more air holes in the mask, and there's going to be fans in here anyway, because I'm going to need them, or I'm probably just going to suffocate. Get in there though. Run away. Oh my day. Woo! I really hope you can hear me in this thing, or I'm going to have to subtitle that whole bit.
Alright, so we got the most of the chunks of the armour done now. See the neck ring, the front piece. It's still a little bit too bland for my liking. As I said, I'm going to add some more details to it. So just adding a couple more bits, and then we'll be doing a little bit more work on the paint job and adding a little bit more lighting. So just started working on a couple of bits. I've got these two, which are kind of going to be the cape clips. So they're going to go up there, just bulks out the armour a little bit more. Got these little bits here. I'm currently working on the back one. So this one just goes across the front. Again, just to add a little something. So this is just a 2mm EVA foam, and I'm going over it with the soldering iron to get the nice little indents in there. I'm just going to be just adding some bits just on the inside strip. Just again, trying to make things look like they have a purpose, and possibly do a little bit of weathering as well. So we're nearly there with the armour. Nearly there. Okay, so adding a little bit more detail to Mysterio's armour work. I'm just going to paint on some other details with a slightly darker gold, a little bit yellow, maybe a bit silver, and then go about adding in some of this, which is another form of LED wire. So try and thread this through certain parts just so we've got some more lights, because Mysterio can never have too many lights. This is what we're aiming for. A bit over the top, but still looks cool, lots of lights. Just kind of making it up as I go at the moment, just sort of seeing what comes out really nice. So got a couple of little tubs of Painter's Touch, got some acrylic paints as well, and let's just have some fun with this. So now the armour's painted, what I'm going to do next is put some of this wire on there, and instead of gluing it on here, which would be messy and show up quite a lot, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sew it in certain spots on here, because I can get a needle through this foam, so hopefully I should be able to get it through and it should be fine, and it just means you don't have to worry about lots of glue showing up. And it should also stay in place quite easily as well. So try and figure out a shape where you can use the whole thing. With this, I do believe you can cut it down to the length as well, so might be doing that if need be. And then stick it with a battery pack, hide the battery pack underneath the front, and yeah, it'll be good. So one of them's going to go on the belt and one of them's going to go on the chest. Okay, the end of my needle has gone, so new plan. So here's what we've got now in terms of finished armour. So instead of sewing on the little light strips, what I've done is poked a hole through the armour with a barbecue skewer and actually fed the lights through, so the light continues on underneath and comes back out. And almost just like sewing, but with the light strip instead of actually using a needle and thread to keep it in place. And it hasn't come out, stays nice and still. I did have to remake the belt buckle though, because having the buckle at 5mm and threading the wires so close to the edge meant it just sort of creased up and folded in on itself, and it looked terrible, so I had to remake it out of a 10mm thick foam. As you can see, we do actually now have a cape on this. I can't show you how the cape was made because I didn't make the cape. My nan very kindly sewed together this cape for me. I did try and help out with the pattern as much as I could, but sewing really is not my forte, and to actually get something to look really neat, I can't do it. So it's basically just got a pattern for a cape, cut that out, did it twice, so this is actually doubled up, so the fabric is a bit thicker. So what we've gone for is actually a crushed velvet purple, which looks really, really nice. Sewed those two bits together. I've hand sewn a little bit of Velcro on the inside here, and now I can't put it on because the dummy is rotating. No, don't fight me! And just stuck some Velcro on the armour here so we can just... the dummy's rotating, so it's not on there properly, but you get it, you get what I mean. But thankfully this cape also hides some things as well, because to get the power source to the lights at the belt, it means I have to run a cable. Balls. Let's just take that off and then we can talk through it a lot easier. Taking the cape off. As you can see, it's kind of crudely stuck in with tape, so you're not going to see that bit round the back. Also some bits are covered in tape here just so the light itself doesn't shine through, otherwise you're just going to see where there's an extra overlapping kind of bit of wire going underneath. So it comes around the back. See, I've taped it together here. There's tape all around this bit because otherwise, and as I said, the light will shine through. And you can see here is the connector to the battery pack. Now there's two battery packs for the armor lights, so there's one that powers this one and one that powers this one. And what I've done is I've just hidden them under the back of the whole sort of chest/neck armor thing. So again, the battery packs are velcroed into place, so they're easily removable and you can change out the batteries. Hiding them around the back means they don't cause too much of a lump to stick out, and again, as I said, all hidden by the cape. And you can see how it all looks underneath. It's a little bit messy with the wires here, and everything's just taped in place, so if I need to remove it and change it around, I can. When everything's on, you don't actually see that. So we are slowly getting there. Matt did do a test fit of the full suit the other day when he came over, and there are a couple of things I do want to tweak again. One is I do want a couple more supports on the dome, as it does kind of go backwards and forwards a little bit when you're wearing it, so I want to attach a couple of clips either side just to make sure it is definitely sturdy. But before we do that, I am actually going to cut the dome down a little bit. You can see the helmet in there. Obviously it sits lower than it would do if you're wearing it, because there's no head inside this dome at the moment, but it'll only sit a little bit higher if you're wearing it, so you've got quite a big gap at the top. And at first I was kind of happy with it, but now looking at it, I do want to change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about up to here, cut that bit off so I can sink the dome down a little bit lower. Might mean that I need to redo that chest piece, but I won't be happy with it until I fix it, so it needs to be fixed. And I got 2 weeks left until Comic-Con, so fingers crossed we can get it done. We can get it done. So I'm just going to tape this up again, go at it with the Dremel and cut that bottom bit off. I'm going to have to remake obviously these golden armor bits here, but that's okay. I reckon we can do this. So here's the neck ring, here is the dome. As you can see, the dome is a lot nicer shape now than it was. It's definitely a lot more Mysterio and a little bit less fishbowl. But as you can see, it now means it fits over the neck seal, which was the connector, to have it sit on the head. So what this also means is I have to remake the neck seal. Not too big of a deal, because this is the one part that is templated, so I can probably knock that out in about an hour or so. So what I'm going to do is obviously I want to keep these bits, see if I can try and reuse them. So I'm going to very, very carefully cut at them with a blade. And yeah, hopefully I can save them. Save the straps as well, and a bit of the padding, and just kind of see how it comes out. I mean, I could always just add a bit more around here, but it just means more seams. And maybe the next one I make might be a little bit cleaner than this one. So you never know. The joyous thing about cosplay, constantly chopping and changing. When you're kind of making stuff up as you go along, you don't always stick to your original idea. So, you know, this isn't going to be too big a deal. I can fix it, I can deal with it. It's just a little bit of time, so let's get on. There is one more thing I want to tweak along with the dome, and that's the cape clips. Now I did make some cape clips, but the paint was coming off them, so I'm remaking them again. So there's a couple bits outside drying, so it's two 5mm foam pieces that'll be glued together. So one is the same shape of this without the bits cut out, so that underside's going to be yellow, and this bit's going to be gold. But again, I was thinking I don't just want it as the plain shape. Mysterio's cape clips normally have eyes on them. So I got some of this stuff recently, which looks a bit weird, but this is actually craft clay. So this is from Polyprops, which is where I get my foam from. It just kind of, it looks a little bit like foam, which is what it is. So it's basically craft foam but sculptable. So apparently you got 30 minutes work time, so 30 minutes to sculpt it, and it will dry over a period of 24 hours. So I only bought it because they had it cheap on the website, and I haven't used it before. So I kind of wanted to see what it was like. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add my eyes to the bottom of this where the little curve is. I'm actually going to sculpt some eyes onto it. And if this comes out really nice, I might add little tiny sculpted details to other bits. This is just, I really am making things up as I go along here, but I'm having a great deal of fun doing it. So why not, eh? Why not? Here we go, we've tweaked it, we've prodded it, we've poked it. I think this is probably going to be the final bit now before doing all the electronics. As you can see, oh, this stuff's still visible in the helmet, but we'll be covering that up with the wadding. I just don't want to put it in there before we get the fans in, because I need to know where the fans are going to go, because we don't want wadding to get in the fans. It's not clipped on properly here because I keep taking the dome off to tweak stuff, but this is what we've got now. So those cape clips turn out quite nice. They're literally just attached to the cape via a couple of safety pins that have been glued onto the back, and this is actually just an offcut of the cape. Oh, it had some spare fabric. I literally just rolled it up, glued it in a strip, and that now goes underneath this section of the dome, so it kind of hides the joins. Even if you do see anything underneath, all the neck seal is now painted gold, and there's a little bit of detail on this sticky out bit where the Velcro connects. Again, you can see the lights here, but that will be covered. So it's just more of that LED strip light just gone into the dome, and there's just the connector. You can see the other side of it's just sticking out through there. So there's actually just a small slit in the foam at the bottom where the wire's poking through. So underneath this shoulder bit at the back of the cape, we've got another battery pack. So there's one hiding here, one hiding here, one hiding here, which you can't see when it's on, but you can hide all the wires. And just a couple of the foam details that I was going to use for the inside the helmet now just helps cover up sort of where the end of the cape is in the brim, and again, you're not really going to see it by the time I add all the wadding and all the lights are on and working. So yeah, this is now the big back brace, bigger than what we had it before. Obviously I've made another one of those detail pieces, exactly the same as the one previous, it's just bigger to glue it on the back. It's sitting down a bit lower here, so you can see the gap. That's just how it sits on the mannequin. It sits up a bit more when you're actually wearing it. But yeah, I am quite pleased with how this has actually turned out. It's simple, but it works. But it does have a lot of hidden kind of, I wouldn't say complications, just lots of, it's a costume that has lots and lots and lots of tweaks. So I've literally spent a good couple of days just figuring out how to remount the dome now that it's been cut down. So again, just to go through it with you guys, we have this little bit of Velcro sticking out at the front, which attaches to Velcro on the inside of this part of the dome. Hiding under the back here, if I just pull this little bit out, you can just see there's Velcro on the outside back of the dome and on the inside of this part. And as I said before, it's not clipped in place, but there's some dowel ring clips that are glued to the armour, hidden by the cape on the inside. And you can just see underneath this light here, there's a bit of the webbing that's glued to the other side of the dowel ring clip. So that dome really shouldn't go anywhere. Of course, not going to do anything stupid in the costume, so it shouldn't break, it shouldn't fall off. Won't really know until you do a full day in it. See, I will do a test wear of it so far, but we're nearly there. We're pretty much 90% of the way there. So the next stage is going to be fitting the rest of the electronics, and I'm going to leave that stage for the next part of the video. So for the next part, we'll be looking at the fans, doing smoke, and also getting custom voice files, because this has taken a while, so it means I haven't had a video out for a little bit, but this is most of it done. So the main bodywork all finished, all lovely. So I'm gonna leave you with a full suit up of what we've got so far. I won't be in it long because without the fans it gets incredibly hot in here, and you can see what we've kind of got and how it all goes together. And then the final part of the build should be up within the next week or so, just before Comic-Con. So I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, thank you to my awesome patrons on Patreon, especially to Jeff Kenny. Subscribe if you like what I do here and you want to see me make some more stuff. Follow me in on social media and whatnot if you want to see any progress pictures before they get put up here. Patrons do get some early access to videos, as well as some other videos that people don't get to see. Thanks again for watching, and I'll leave you with the Master of Illusion himself, Mysterio.